Hey guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Tim.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and we are live from our basements because we cover games from top to bottom. Tim, what did you think of that new intro song?
Dude, it was really hard to keep my mouth shut. That was tight. I loved it.
Yeah,
100%.
I do too.
I'm excited about that. That looks
Absolutely.
good,
Props
really
to
good.
our editor, Matt. He comes up with the good-looking transitions, stingers, and all that kind of stuff. So cheers to him. Tim beat me to it.
I did.
Let's say hi to everybody in our comments.
Yeah,
what's up, Jason?
And we got Andrew F. Yo. We got some of our regulars already here.
We do.
Loving it. Good to see you guys. Mike, I got some bad news, buddy. I got like 2 more pours of this whiskey bottle, and then my Indiana whiskey is out, and I'm gonna have to get a new whiskey because I'm unless I start drinking tequila or Malabar or vodka, because that's the other hard liquors I got. I ain't drinking Malabar straight.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to start streaming on Tuesdays, so you can't touch that tequila either.
Tequila Tuesdays, yeah. It's funny because I will get to this in a minute, but I was chatting with Michael from the Full 42, and he has meetings on Wednesdays, and I was like, oh well, if you can't do a Wednesday, that's fine, man. We can do a different night with you. You know, I'd just love to have you on. I said we could do. He's like, well, whiskey Tuesday doesn't have the same feel. I go, no, it's tequila Tuesdays, whiskey Wednesdays, Thursdays. I was like, we got this, man.
Yeah.
And what's up, Jasmine? Good to see you back. She was gone for a little bit, and then she came back. So it's good to see you. Jason, I got to tell you, I'm a bourbon guy. I'm just a bourbon guy. I've tried some scotches, and I just, I don't know that I have the palate for it or that I found the right one. I don't remember the names. I had some, a gift set somebody got me of some like really fancy scotches. You know what I mean? It was more like so you could try this variety of scotches, and they were all like high dollar stuff. And it was all kind of just wasted on me, you know. Like I was like, "Oh, I hate this."
I have had some scotch I really liked with kind of a smoky aftertaste. I really haven't jumped all into scotch and tasted that much of it.
I think you have to.
But I've had some good scotch, so I mean I should try it. But again, I'm not ready to start streaming on Saturdays.
Right.
John, what's up, John? I think you are new to the comments. So hello. Oof. I'm not a dry guy, so gin not for me, unfortunately. Yeah, just too dry for me. I also just don't do rum or vodka's okay as long as it's been distilled at least 7 times.
You don't want that beef. You don't want that the dark eyes vodka. Like charcoal,
no,
twice distilled charcoal vodka.
That's correct. I am no longer in college, so we don't need that. We don't need Smirnoff raspberry for the freshmen anymore.
Right.
So, Tim, I know before we jump into our topic, we had a couple orders of business regarding the channel we wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I'll mention a few things real quick. Next week, you thought today was fun. Next week, we're going to have a special guest. If everything pans out, we're going to have Michael Gugliano from the Full 42 on. I hope I said his last name right. He's a good dude.
That's a good question.
He deserves to have his last name pronounced correctly. He is a game designer, and also they do a show every Monday, and it's Chris. What's Chris's last name? He does
Strain
with Trouble with Troibles, right?
Asking for Troubles.
Yep, that's a different game. Then Katya's on there also. She does the board game, the art creations. They're amazing. She's a sweetheart.
Backed her calendar this year. It's awesome.
But a great group of people, and I asked Michael if he wanted to come on and hang out with us a little bit. He's got some pretty good game stories as far as like his design and and how he got in and what's going on with them. I talked to him and met him at Gen Con. But anyways, dude's a good guy. I'm super stoked to have him on the show. So I'm hoping that all works out. I won't spoil the topic, but we've already got a topic, which is making Mike's head spin, which is great.
I may have to tweak the topic slightly because I don't want to do that much research.
Listen, I can tell you, you don't even have to open this to know that this would qualify.
Damn it.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, welcome. I mean, great. That's going to be yours. Not going to go for crossover.
No, I got better ones.
He said better ones than that. Player color, not components. I'd rather do components.
Don't
anyway,
don't spoil it.
Little teaser. Andrew, what else, Tim?
we're not responsible for Andrew. I don't know where he's at. No,
we try. We invite everybody every week.
We do. Also, want to say a couple things that we are either filming or have filmed. Today, just probably an hour or two ago, our review of Kites dropped. Super excited about that game. Again, like a thank you to West from Quackalope, Mingo.
Yes.
He hooked me up with that game. He went to PAX. He offered to, is there anything I could try to scoop up for you? And I sounded like the biggest dork, but I'm like, can you find me a copy of Kites? And sure enough, he hooked us up. I mean, the great thing is it wasn't like a super expensive thing or like a really heavy game he needed to haul back in his luggage. But anyway, it was very kind of him. He took care of us, got us copy of that game. And so we were able to play it. I made everybody play it and review it on New Year's Day.
Yep. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that we invited Andrew to the stream and he totally ghosted us, but here he is.
Hey, he's busy, dude. He's busy.
Oh.
And it's okay because it benefits me. Also, this weekend we are going to be filming a review. Well, I don't think I'm going to be in it because I haven't played it yet, but we're going to be filming a review of Terracotta Army. Where we a bunch of the guys, again, not me, have played Oros. There will be a review of that coming soon. We've got a review of Deal with the Devil coming out soon from CGE Games. We also have this weekend, this Sunday, we are going to be filming our most anticipated of 2023 list. So if there's games that are that need to be on our radar, hop on the Discord or comment on the video what we should be looking for, because I'm sure I'm gonna miss some. It's not even a top 10 list. It's the top 5 because I'm concerned about crossover. I made that call. So if you wanted a 10 and you only get 5, you can be mad at me for that. But I also want to make sure I don't want to have too much crossover, because lists like that aren't, for me, variety is more the spice of life there, So if we could talk about 20 different games, and I feel like if we do 10 each, we still might only cover 20 different games.
Yeah.
So, and if we're going to spend, 2 hours talking about the same stuff, I would rather, have some of that time to do other things and put out some reviews and still put out an action-packed, and let's be real, it'll still be like an hour and a half, long episode, even though technically the list is half the size.
Us? No.
I know. Oh, why is Dan sad?
Oh, wow.
For everybody, for anybody that watches and doesn't know, Andrew Warner in the comments, that's our guy Andrew that you see on the show. And Gamer Shelter, that's Dan the man who sits at my left hand and loves to give me a hard time.
I have one other thing I'd like to mention that's in the can.
I've got one when you're done, but go for it.
Heat pedal to the metal, baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can judge by Mike's reaction. This game probably got a 6 from him.
Yes. Well, 6.5, but close.
Oh, my bad, dude. I didn't want to lowball you there.
So, and then I wanted to hit up a couple comments because some of these were interesting. So that was our Andrew reacting to him. So that was kind of funny. And then this question for Jason. Tim, I'll let you handle that one.
Yeah, kids can play.
Yes.
Kids can play for sure. I would say I could play it with my 11-year-old pretty easily. My son might take a little coaching. He's 6, but he's good. You know, he could do it with a little bit of help. And the good thing is it's short enough. He'll make it through the whole game without wandering off, getting bored. So.
Oh, that is so true. Uh-oh.
I got to give Dan some credit.
Oh.
My bad, dude.
And I'll grab some popcorn. I'll be right back.
No. Listen, here's the best thing about doing the show, right? Is that we're all friends and we're all probably too comfortable with each other. And I love every minute of it, even if Dan's wrong half the time.
So, I mean, even though it was official with our countdown and with our banner, let me just make it official while Tim is buffering. It's Whiskey Wednesday. I'm still drinking Iron Fish, Rob. So thank you for that. This stuff is good. We both have the same criticism that for a whiskey that is finished in maple syrup barrels, it's not very mapley, like really at all. But it's still a smooth whiskey. Thanks, Rob, for bringing it a few weekends ago.
Oh, hey, I'm going to do my last order of business and then we can move on. I'm sorry.
You're good.
A game I am very excited about is coming to Kickstarter on Tuesday, and we'll have a video dropping on it Tuesday morning to sort of correspond with the release. We actually filmed this video like a month and a half ago, but this was our first opportunity to work with Facade Games. They sent us a preview copy that we had to then ship off to another reviewer that nobody's ever heard of. Grant Lyon.
It's like three times bigger than us.
I know his address now. But no, Facade Games was really cool. They sent us their newest game coming out called Hollywood 1947. And just so you know how we operate, Facade is big enough. If we didn't like their game, we could say it and not worry about it. I feel like they would respect our opinion. If it was like a really small company or an independent person, we wouldn't even release a review. We would just send them their game back and say, thanks, it wasn't for us. It didn't work out. Thankfully, that really hasn't happened. But anyways, Hollywood 1947, it is the new Facade game that'll be coming out. And I really want it to fund because I want a copy of this game.
And Tim, this is like semi-co-op / hidden trader with a twist.
Yeah, it's hidden trader, semi-co-op. Basically, you are either a communist or a patriot. And this is based on like the Red Scare in the 40s, right? So if you're a communist, you're slipping propaganda into movies. And if you're a patriot, you need these movies to be American, and show American values. Anyways, America. It's really the way the roles work is unlike any other sort of hidden social deduction game that I've ever seen. And I love how thematic the roles are. It's such a fun combination of mechanics and theme. And I am a big movie buff. I have watched movies probably, if not every day, every other day. I'm in the process of watching a movie. And I just love movies. So a movie themed board game, I'm your guy. But that's my last order of business there, Mr. Rice.
Okay. Well, since we've had, first I want to address this because, wow. I mean, you had me with all of that. You mentioned earlier, I tagged the comment, but I loved it so much, I tagged it again. Different comment, still tagged it.
Okay. Well, let me just ruin the taste in your mouth then.
Wow.
K Smith 78, dude.
I was waiting for that.
Dude. Come on, man. Thank you for watching. That's all I'll say.
Wow. So as you know, it will not be on Tim's list. I don't own it, so it won't be on my list. However, so what's the list? Tim, why don't you go ahead and just jump into what our list is?
Okay, so tonight we are doing a list that was suggested a while back in the Discord. We tried to save it for studio, and then we needed a topic tonight, and this was just too good of a topic to keep putting off. So we are doing top 10 games you would save in a fire. If your house is on fire and you're running into your game room, what 10 games are you going to grab and take out of your house before it goes up in a fiery conflagration and you've lost everything else? Mike and I might have a little bit of different criteria because my criteria is basically 10 games that I would grab that I can carry out in one trip. So unfortunately, my beloved Cthulhu Wars, which is in 3 totes, I don't have time to get the base game out of the tote. I don't have time to get my favorite factions out of the tote. If I take all 3 totes, it would require a dolly because I'm in my basement. And also would mean I saved 1 game. So I got to leave it. I got to leave it. I think Mike just took his top 10 games of all time and put them on this list. And that's his list and it's stupid.
No. Right. No? Well, it is stupid, but
Dan would hate my list, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, if they're small games that you can carry, I think you're right because Dan doesn't like any small games except for Fantasy Realms. That's the only small box one I think he'll ever play for the rest of his life.
Fair.
So mine. All right. So look. I heard Tim's, his categories of, well, I got to make sure it gets out of the house.
I can't hear Mike. Is anybody else having a problem hearing Mike? Yeah, Mike's muted. I was letting him go. I thought it was a me issue. I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
Yep, no, it was me. I've been coughing so much. Sorry, guys. I'm not using the screen mute. I'm using my mic mute because I'm coughing literally that much.
So before you start, Mike, because it pretty much cut you off right at the beginning. Dan, one trip. That's the beauty of this list is what makes it so difficult. Like, one trip. It's very difficult.
No. See, I have shelves over there, and next to those shelves is a closet. In that closet are multiple bags. One IKEA bag and a Marvel Dice Throne bag nearly as big. The games I picked, I didn't check or measure, would easily go in these bags. And that's why I keep them down here, so I can easily just toss games in them. So I very easily, I know Tim wants to grab, I figure I got a minute and a half. And since my bags are right next to my shelf, I got no problem loading these babies up and lugging them up the stairs. Now, Andrew is now salty. Andrew's salty because I made a trade with him, and I traded him Marvel Dice Throne for Brass Birmingham. And yes, when I purchased it at Gen Con, it came with a promo, which he got, and it came with a Marvel Dice Throne bag, which is a pretty nice game bag. I didn't include that in our trade. Why? Well, I didn't think about, I better include that bag they get. Nobody thinks I better include this grocery bag I got.
Because you're a scallywag, dude.
Well, it's maybe because I'm cheap. But also, I paid more for the game, so I deserve the bag. Bam. All right, moving on.
Listen, at the end of the day, both parties are happy with the trade. Andrew got rid of Brass Birmingham, which he hates, and he got Marvel Dice Throne, which he enjoys. And you got a crunchy Martin Wallace game, so...
Which, hopefully I'll like. We'll see. I did like Age of Industry years ago, which is Lancashire now. Speaking of reprints, I'll talk about a couple of those today. And the next time I see Andrew, I am bringing that bag. Guaranteed. Just like, Andrew's coming over? Okay, let me go get that bag so I don't forget. Set it by the garage door. One of those things. All right. So, tangent. Tim, are you ready to jump into our list here?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. I was born ready.
Wow. Okay. So I'll ask you after our number 10. So I got a feeling you probably have all of your games right next to you, don't you?
I actually don't. I almost did. All right,
I don't have to feel bad then. Because I didn't want to lug all mine over here. I'm willing to bag them up and lug them up the stairs, but I wasn't bringing them to this table, okay?
Dude, I got a stack of games right over here of like stuff that I'm selling or getting ready to sell. And I was like, I don't want another stack of games like over here that then I've got to put away later. What's wrong with you?
Nothing. Yes.
Oh, okay. Did I just give you another game for your list?
It's going to be an honorable mention.
Okay.
Okay, Tim, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Okay. So, as you will see with a lot of my games on this list, specifically games that would be hard for me to replace. Okay. So game number 1 is not Terror in Meeple City. It is actually the original version of that game in which they do not have the rights to publish it under that name anymore. And it is just called Rampage.
Nice.
This is a straight up dexterity game inspired by the old Nintendo game or arcade game Rampage. But really you're stacking up, you're building up buildings using these meeples. And then you've got your wooden dinosaur guy, and he's got a wooden disc. You're flicking your disc, trying to knock down buildings and eat up all the meeples. And then, it's a little bit of set collection because it's like colors of meeples in your belly are good, and you can eat as many meeples as you have teeth. And if another monster hits you and knocks you over, they knock out one of your teeth. It's dumb fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's a classic. It would be really hard to replace for the price that I got it. Because it's out of print. Sure, I could get Terror in Meeple City, but that's not the gem. That's not the fun thing to have in the collection. It's like, what's this game, Rampage? And it's like, oh yeah, you like that? You can never have it because I got it. Just kidding. But you know how it goes. That. Yes, all the time. So Rampage is my number 10.
Great pick. I should have seen that one coming. Because yeah, Rampage. That's a cool one. Okay. So my number 10, I added on the list after I printed it out. Not 2 minutes ago, but earlier today. And the reason I did this is because I am a person of high character. I'm also I'm also a good friend. And also, if you ask me to do something and I say I'll do it, then I will do it because I'm a man of my word. So if you let me borrow a game, I'm going to make sure you get it back, which is why my number 10 is Autobahn, because I borrowed it from Bob. Bob, nice. You'll get your game back if there is a fire. Plus, we need to review that. Now, I was supposed to be reading the rule book. That's why I have it. I've been reading the rule book, and that's why I have it.
That's what it is.
That's why it's actually right over there. Did I move it down? I might have. No, it's over there. Anyway, so Autobahn. It looks pretty cool. Sorry for all the cough breaks. I figure a break is better than constant coughing. It's route building with a little bit of delivery. But all of your routes have to connect back to the Autobahn. I also like thematically how in this game, you can't access East Germany in the beginning of the game because the game actually does historical time periods. So it goes from I want to say 1950 to 1970, then does 1970 to 2000. Then the wall comes down, and in the third phase or age, East Germany is available. So I kind of like that thematic historical tie-in a lot.
So the wall came down way before 2000, but yeah.
I don't remember. When was it? Sure. I don't know.
89, 88? It was a while ago.
Somewhere in there.
Dan wasn't born yet. I was 10. That's what it is.
Sure. Somebody tell us when. Yeah, I mean, terrible. I should have looked. I'm sure anybody that has a German background here is insulted right now.
So I'm
insulted.
Not to virtue signal, because yes, you are noble for taking a game that is not yours out of the house to save from a fire. But yes. I've played every game on my list many times. You have not played Autobahn yet, right?
No, but we need to review it. And I have the Kickstarter copy. So wouldn't I want to save that? You know, I actually have another game on this list that I haven't played. Well, that's the fun of this list.
Oh, I do have a game on my list I haven't played. It's my number one. Holy smokes. Oh, I'm a dirtbag, Mike. Sorry. I'm not as noble as you.
Well, I mean, I just thought it was a fun reason to put it on this list. And that's why I like this list. There are so many reasons you may say, oh, I got to get that one out of here. If I'm not going to see that game again, then it's what I got to take. So I just ran with it. I thought it was a fun reason. And we are going to shoot a review of it soon because I've been steadily reading that rule book.
Over and over and over.
All right.
I feel you.
Let's get to number 9.
Let's do it. Okay, so like Mike, I'm a loyal person.
He's loyal to his terrible internet hamster that still makes him buffer all the time, doesn't want to get rid of him and get a new internet hamster. It's crazy how loyal he is. As you were, Tim?
Yeah, thanks for jumping in on that. No, I'm a loyal friend, and when I like somebody, I hold on to that for a long time, even if it's Dan. And if I don't like somebody, I probably irrationally hold on to that for a long time as well.
Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, and you're right, Andrew. Anyways, there was a game I kickstarted years ago because I liked a game that the other game that this designer had done. Then I got to meet the designer. I love this guy. He's super, just nice guy. Treated us wonderfully at Gen Con. But I already was in the tank for him because I loved his games. I loved 3 out of his game. 3 of the games that I played of his. But the one I would save is the one that would be hardest to get in this form. If you want Joey Vigor's Stranger Things Attack of the Mind Flayer, you could go to your big box store, buy it right off the shelf. It is right there. But if you want the original version, the superior version of that game, in my opinion, you want Growl. Oh, hold on. That's not too far away. I'm going to get it. And my Growl, the Kickstarter version, comes in like a fuzzy case. It's got a magnetic lid. I flippin' love this game. It's got great artwork, metal coins that are totally unnecessary. But I love me some Growl. I'm saving this game. It's hard to get. Joey's a great dude, deserves more attention than he gets. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Growl. I'm saving Growl because we could play while we're watching the fire burn my house down to ashes. So I got Mike on that one.
Good one. I thought you were going to go with the other designer, but I think you're going to go with him later. So my number 9, this is honestly just a game I absolutely love. And I have like everything for it, including the big box to put it all in, and promos I got from Gen Con, and a dice tower, and a holographic monsters for role players, sir. Yeah. That is right. I love this game. It is one of my all-time favorite dice placement games. I love that theme. I'm a big fan of Keith Matejka that started Thunderworks Games as well. Super nice and approachable guy. And I love this game, and I got everything. I have the big box. I got Fiends and Familiars. I got Monsters and Minions. I ordered a dice tower from them. I have the metal coins, holographic monsters I think I mentioned. I have a couple promo cards. Like, I'm not trying to track all that down again. No, sir. So Role Player is coming with me. And some of my buddies that you guys haven't met, like if I didn't save Role Player, they'd be pissed because that's like I got 2 buddies that I'll game with sometimes when you guys aren't around, and that's like their favorite game to play. They would be pissed if I didn't grab that game.
Sure. I bought the big everything package at Origins. It was a really good deal. It came with everything, Nick? The Dice Tower and all that stuff. I freaking love the game, and I haven't even played the expansions for it yet. I'm just playing the base game. I know, Mike. You got to show me how to integrate the expansions.
Dude, it's so easy too.
Yeah,
like such little rule overload to add. It's amazing. There's so I've mentioned this before. I have 10 or 11 games rated as a 10 on BGG. And I have 1 expansion rated as a 10, and this is that expansion. The Monsters and Minions expansion completes Role Player. And it's like, you play Role Player, and you're like, hey, this is a good game. And then someone says, well, hey, how about an expansion that completes the game? And you go, well, it was a fine game. Why would I need the expansion? And then you play the expansion, you're like, because instead of just buying market cards, now you can fight minions. Minions give you XP. XP allows you to roll more dice against the final monster. So now this game has a finality. You're not just building a character. You're going to fight a monster at the end, and you're going to roll a buttload of dice to see how many points you score against it. More XP from fighting minions, the more dice you can roll, or more re-rolls. It's a great mechanic, and it really, really finishes that game.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
So, I will be glad to teach that one. I love that game. So, I guess that means we're on to number 8.
I love this. Ethan, you're my guy. That's really good, man. That is
well
really
done,
good.
sir. Well done. And
like
welcome, Ethan. If you've been here before, I don't recognize your name. Welcome.
Oh, hey, that's
Monsters and Minions?
Yeah, it could be. I'm definitely a minion. Or am I the monster? I don't know. My wife wouldn't want to be either.
He agrees with you.
I'm definitely couch surfing. If that's what I call it. I'm definitely couch surfing.
What's up, Star Trek? I remember you from previous streams.
Yeah, that's it, Star Trek. We haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad you're back. All right, number 8. Number 8 is probably my easiest game to replace, and that is why it is my 8 and not higher on the list. And that is Taverns of Tiefenthal. This is just a game that I love. If I'm going to save one Wolfgang Warsch game out of my list, it is Taverns. I love Quacks, don't get me wrong. But there's just something really satisfying for me about the experience of playing Taverns. I love the deck
building.
You
and Dan love this game.
I love the push your luck of like not even push your luck, but like that as you are like, oh, can I fill my tables? And then you could, maybe you've got the thing that'll let you redraw, so you just discard everything and then you just redraw. And like, hopefully that maybe will give you a better outcome. I freaking love that game. What can I say? It's the easiest one to replace, but it's on my list just for my love of it and its portability. I can carry it out very easily, stacked amongst my other games.
Very reasonably sized box with modules already in it.
And I also want to say earlier, I think it was Jason, somebody was like, I want to see Tim, like, he has to carry it out after a night of whiskey consumption, like all of these games. Listen, dude, I'm Irish. Whiskey gives me super strength. I'm good to go.
Wow.
I could probably carry 20. And I wouldn't even feel that I was on fire at the time.
Well, Tim, that's interesting. I also, believe it or not, I am Irish. And believe it or not, again, it is the Rice side of the family that's from Ireland. Nice. So, I figured maybe if my last name was like Potato, that would make sense. But no, it's Rice.
Well, Aberley's actually Swedish, and Swedish and my Swedish heritage is either German or Swedish, depending on what side of the mountain and where they drew the map line that day. So, you know, I get it. But my great grandparents are Sweeneys, you know, like almost off the boat Sweeneys, you know, so we're.
Okay. Okay. So my number 8, this one is out of print. Now,
now you're in my territory.
Yeah. This one is out of print. And Tim, if I told you that I put a Stefan Feld game on this list, what would you guess it to be? I mean, you'd be shocked, first of all.
Bora Bora.
Yeah! It's Bora Bora because it's out of print. And I almost wanted to get the box and pull the board out because of all the older Stefan Feld games. I think it's the prettiest game of all of them. And the only problem is it went out of print. So now, and honestly, this is an excuse to talk about this. So I watched Shut Up and Sit Down's review of the City series, which if you don't know, that is Queen reprinting older Stefan Feld games, putting them in boxes that are too big and way overcharging for them. Let's just be real, okay? This game I got for like $35 like 10 years ago. Queen is going to – that's funny because that's the guy from Shut Up and Sit Down. Queen is going to reprint Bora Bora as Cusco and charge $100 for it. And I don't even think it looks better. So you're going to put it in a bigger box. You're going to charge more for it, and the art's not even really any better. Really? That makes my old copy even more valuable to me because I think it looks better than the reprint. I think it's an awesome game. You want to talk about dice placement games? This is a cutthroat dice placement game, and I love this game. Every time I play it, I'm reminded of how much I love it. It made my top 20. But yeah, you got to pay. I mean, $85, I guess, on the secondary market doesn't look too bad considering how overpriced games are now, or increased in price games are now. But still, one of my favorite games. Can't find that copy. I'm not going to go overpay to get it back. That's just not something I do.
You just reminded me of a game that could be on my list. I wrote it down for an honorable mention, but man, it could have been on my list. 10 games is not enough. 10 games is not enough.
I'm telling you.
I'm starting to sweat. Starting to sweat because I'm saving some games and I'm like, why did I save that one when I could have saved this? But I'm saving it.
There's honorable mentions. I'm starting to sweat, but only because I think I turned the furnace up too high. Well, you know. So I guess that means number 7. Wait, what happened? Oh, I did the ticker, but I didn't do the, well, there you go. B-roll!
Okay, so I ran off camera. I thought you were going to hit 7 when you said 7.
Well, I meant to, and I hit the banner instead of the stinger.
So I was like, I saw him go up to hit it. I'm like, here I go. I'm going to run. Man, yeah, BSG. I agree, Trevor. Unfathomable doesn't. It's different, but I do love my Unfathomable. But you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. If you really want the theme to matter in that style of game, Battlestar Galactica is where it's at. But we're going to talk about my number 7, and there's 2 reasons why this is on my list. One, it is a designer that I love, Jay Cormier.
Nice.
Designed a game that is on my honorable mentions called Belfort. But this is one of my favorite 1v many hidden movement games. Okay, but this is not the reason why I'm saving this game. My sister got this autographed by the artist at Gen Con, and the way he autographs it is by drawing a customized picture on the inside. So my sister Julia's copy has a completely different drawing on the inside box lid of hers.
Nice.
So
that is a great way for an artist to do a signature. That's awesome.
Dude, if this was not drawn in like that, I would have saved a different game because I could replace replace Mind Management. And Mind Management is it's in my top 50 all-time games. I freaking love this game. But because it is signed the way that it is, I was like, I gotta save it. because
you may have a signature unlike anybody else's.
I 100% have a signature unlike anybody else's. It's amazing. Yeah. I love it. You know, it doesn't mind management, you know, any game, right? Any game on your list or my list doesn't have to be like, oh, that I don't like that game. That game sucks. Why would you save that? The art alone is why I would save that game, despite of your feelings on that game. And I know I'm the one that loves it the most out of the group. I can live there like that. I don't mind one bit. But anyways,
I liked it quite a bit. I just want to play it more, honestly. You let me be the hidden guy, and I enjoyed it. It was only a 3-player game. Those games are usually better at 4+, and I still thought it was an enjoyable experience. I want to play it more.
Yeah. No, well, that's mine. I'm gonna go put it back on my shelf, but while you go into your number 7. But I'm excited to hear what it is.
I'll jump into Jason's comment here while you do that.
Yeah,
Jason,
go for it, man.
I've played it at all counts, and I think it's good at every count. I really do. I've played it. First of all, props to your wife for playing Bora Bora. I know that game. It was probably one of the first 20 games I learned, so it's not as hard to learn now as it was. Still, there's some rules overhead to it. So props to she's willing to play that stuff. I think it's amazing at every count.
Love it.
At 2, they adjust how many worker placement spots you have. At 3 and 4, they have more. So instead of just having one travel tile, it becomes a travel by land and travel by water tile. Instead of having just one recruit tile, it becomes a tile for recruiting men and tile for recruiting women. So it adds multiple multiple dice placement spots. So I think it scales really well. My number 7 is another game that I have not played yet. Yes. But here's the thing. I mean, and I'll just throw it out there. It's Encyclopedia.
Oh,
and
right on.
This is why I threw this on here. I just got this game, and it's the Kickstarter edition. Yeah. Like I, you know, like you put a brand new game on your shelf, like literally last Thursday. I've had this game less than a week, and if all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't have that Kickstarter edition of that game anymore, like a game you just bought, I'm like, man. Plus, it's hot. Plus, people are hyping it. Plus, TJ, the designer of Hike It, is hyping it as maybe one of his favorite games of all time.
Oh, dude, he is hyping that so strong. And I respect his opinion. The man knows good games, so I totally respect that.
So it's a dice placement game as well. It's a dice worker placement game. It has a very novel mechanic where you roll your dice, place them on your board, but you can draft from anybody's dice. So you can take the player to your left's dice if you want, and then they get a bonus if you do that. And that seems pretty cool. It's got kind of a trying to research animals and get them saved in the encyclopedia type thing. So I just thought, you know, I'm hearing everybody loves this game. So I just tracked it down, just got it. Can't wait to play it and review it.
Your pick was obviously perfect because nobody has disagreed with you. Well done. Well done, sir.
Like, I mean, I was like, I don't care if I haven't played this game. Everybody says, you got to play this game. Yes, I was. Yeah. Quack had it really high too. Loads of people are hyping this game. So it better live up to the hype. Because I am running up the stairs with it if there's a fire in my house.
Right.
All right. So there you go. An unplayed game.
No, I love it.
I thought it was. It's getting a ton of love. I'm like, nobody's gonna hate this guy.
No.
Sip some whiskey and we'll go to number 6.
We'll do.
Damn it! I keep doing the ticker.
I didn't get up and run away.
I'm doing too many things, Tim. I'm trying to do a stinger and a ticker. Here we go. I'm a rookie over here.
Right. It's our first Whiskey Wednesday, guys. You got to bear with us.
It is.
Mike, you're killing it. I love your list so far, man. I love your list. It's great. And the variety and all the weird, crazy stuff on here and our reasoning for it. It makes this list so much fun.
Yes, that's why I was so excited for this topic. Like Tim will tell you, I was like messaging him. Well, I message him all the time. He's probably sick of it. But I was messaging him earlier, and I was like, dude, I can't wait for tonight. And so there we go. That's why it's a cool list idea.
It's really good. It's really good. So my excuse me, my number 6 is a game that I've talked about a few times on this show. It's a game not many people have played, and that's why I got to save it. I've got to save it over games that I would probably rather save, or maybe even are more valuable financially. But this is a small box game that I kickstarted. Actually, I didn't kickstart. I late pledged because I was so upset I missed the Kickstarter. I reached out to the company. They allowed me to purchase a copy. It is an overseas company, Pendragon Games. And it is Stay Away. This is a game that I've never seen in the United States. I've never seen Stay Away in the wild.
As far as I know,
I've got it. You've heard about it because of me.
You're right.
I talk about it all the time. I won't shut up about it. But Stay Away is sort of a social deduction game. There's a ton of these kind of games, but this one's so rare that I have to save it. Oh God, I just thought of another game I got to write down for honorable mentions.
Oh, our honorable mentions are going to put us past the 3-hour mark.
Oh, dude, it could. But anyway, Stay Away, unlike other sort of social deduction games, you are passing cards between the players to your left and right. And one of the things that can happen is you can play cards that could affect where you're sitting. So this is a game where you have to get up and change seats, and where you're sitting matters, and because who you're going to swap cards with matters. And you may not I don't want Mike giving me a card. He's the thing, and he's going to give me one of those cards. So I barricade the door, and there's a card that's a barricade, and it's literally like somebody like hammering a door as like tentacles are pouring out the sides. So this is just a fun, goofy game with amazing artwork that hardly anybody's heard of. It would be one of those things that like my house burned down and I'd be like, oh, I'm never getting that game back ever. So I don't think they make it anymore. I think it just had a small print run for the Kickstarter. I've never seen it in an FLGS. It definitely is not the kind of game that would show up in a big box store. So just to have something weird and quirky, yeah, Trevor, you're right, dude. You're right. But I can't. I just can't. But anyway.
But Kelly, I got to go back for my honorable mentions.
She's like, you got the kids out. Stay out.
Mallory's in the Cthulhu tote.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. True that.
Amazing.
True that.
All right. One of these days, you're going to have to show me.
Oh, Bob's on here trying to prove me wrong. Bob got one. He got it from the Griffin. Oh, well, good for you, Bob. Good for you, Bob.
Wow.
I guess I could leave it, and I'll just save Sheriff of Nottingham instead, first edition.
Ooh, just Bob. I don't know how long Bob's been on. I'm going to say probably not since the beginning. But Bob, I'll have you know that in a fire, because I'm a good friend and of high character, I will save Autobahn. I will make sure you get your game back, buddy. So just making sure that's out there.
And then the next 6 months,
that was my number 10.
The next 6 months, you'll be like, Bob, remember when I saved Autobahn and I grabbed that because I couldn't save, blah, blah, blah instead. And then Bob will have to buy you blah, blah, blah to make it up to you because you saved it. I see what you're doing here. You're going on the high moral character. And really what you're doing is you're just saving the game and making Bob buy you probably a more expensive version of the game than you already had.
What I thought you were going to say, well, Bob, stay tuned.
Bob has been trying to trade Mike for his dwellings for like 100 years.
There's a reason it's on this list. So we'll get into that.
We'll get there.
Also, I thought Tim was going to say 6 months from now, Mike will still be reading the rule book.
Listen.
No, I've got most of it down. I think I like actions were fine. Scoring, a little weird. Okay, my number 6.
I felt that way with Deal with the Devil. Like I had it all pretty much the process down, but then the scoring was really weird, and then spoiler alert, still seemed kind of weird by the end. But please continue. I want to hear your number 6.
I heard you guys adding it up, and I'm like, dang. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's got a TI-84. 85, whatever your preference.
Whatever.
Okay, my number 6. This is not out of prep. In fact, this is a game I also just bought. Tim thinks he knows what it is. He doesn't. It's also super hot because nothing's hotter than heat, baby. Oh. Pedal to the metal. You know why I would save this in a fire? Number 1, the obvious. It's good. This game deserves the hype. It is good. Okay,
but that out of the way. Shouldn't a game called Heat be on fire? You should let it go to its natural state.
Well, number 2.
I'm not saying that as like I don't like the game. I'm just wordplay. Just
so I added this today because Bob told me you can't get it anymore. Game Nerds out of stock. I just ordered it 2 weeks ago. Out of stock. Miniature Market doesn't have it. Cool Stuff Inc. doesn't have it. Boardlandia doesn't have it. Card House doesn't have it. Amazon has never had it. You can't get Heat anymore unless you walk into an FLGS. So they're going to have to start cranking out more copies like ASAP because they are losing money the longer this game.
That's Days of Wonder, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be an issue getting a reprint, of course.
Sure.
Or, I mean, I don't know if they're already out of copies, but I have to assume because nobody has it anymore. I don't like to overpay for stuff. I did, but we'll get to that. But yeah, Bob was like, dude, I'm trying to find Heat and I can't get it anywhere. And I'm like, wow, that's a good reason to save it from a fire. It's good. Spoiler, it's worth the hype. Awesome. I love racing anyway. The hand management, the way you have to deal with your Heat cards and constantly put them in your engine and then discard them out of your engine to use them. It's so genius. And it's a really easy game to learn, but it is really solid. So there you go.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play this game. I really
do. It deserves the hype. It is good. It is such a solid game. So I'm like, I got people coming over tomorrow, at least 2, and like I want to play Heat. That's what I want to play right now.
Okay, hold on though. Sophie's choice: Heat or Wonderland's War.
For what? Saving it from a fire or playing?
What game do you like better? What game do you like better?
Wonderland's War.
Okay,
yeah. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Right, I was just checking because you're excited about Heat. I just wanted to. I just want to put your feet to the fire.
Woo!
And ask a hard question.
While I am trying to cool off, I will try to think of like. I mean, it's in the top 50 already. There's no question about that. I don't know where it lands yet. I haven't played enough new games since we ranked them to start re-ranking games, but it's going to be in that top 50 for certain. It's
right on.
Good, man.
Right on.
But yeah, Wonderland's War. I mean, yeah, I still love that game. Can't get rid of that yet. Now, spoiler: it won't be saved in a fire. Love it.
Oh, yeah, you got a Kickstarter copy coming. You can let that.
I got second edition coming anyway. Go ahead, be going with you.
That Jabberwock player board's not even the right one, so let it burn.
Okay, number 5. Tim's buffering. Oh, there he is.
Okay, I had to run and get a game again.
Ooh.
Okay, so my number 5 is out of print. It's really hard to get. It's Bob also has this game. He loves it.
I did say it a lot, especially for Heat, probably 10 times.
Sip.
Because it's never mind.
Poor Andrew. The Board Game Rundown is not responsible for any medical bills that may be incurred during the viewing of Whiskey Wednesday. Oh yeah, dude. I like it. I'm with you there. All right, my number 5. This game is dumb dice chucking fun with incredible miniatures, especially if you got a very talented friend to paint them for you. It is out of print. It is a Games Workshop game. It is Gorechosen. Dun, dun, dun. This is a tactical combat asymmetric game. You are basically just gladiators in a pit duking it out. I got stuff falling out of here. I'm trying to get to the minis. My buddy Pete painted these miniatures, and they are baller, dude. They are baller. So anyways, Gorechosen. Bobby's with me. He knows what's up. Gorechosen, super good, really cool miniatures. And just dumb gladiatorial combat. You can win the game even if you die, because on your turn, like a random thing happens. And I think it was like, I've seen it happen twice now where you like stand up, you know, with like one last thing, and you like heave an axe at somebody, or somebody throws an axe in from the crowd and like decapitates. You still got like get like a perfect roll. It decapitates like somebody still standing up. It's amazing and hilarious. And just dumb dice chucking, beer and pretzels fun. But Gorechosen, it's a little clunky with like the movement mechanic is a little weird, and facing is very important, but that's because it's a Games Workshop game. And you know, Games Workshop is all about just, I don't know, did I show the guy with the flail? The flail is
wow,
so awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, Pete is painting my Ankh stuff right now. He's starting with the gods, like, and so far Osiris looks amazing. I cannot wait to play Ankh again anyways, because like Wonderland's War for Mike, Ankh is a game where it's like, oh yeah, somebody wants to play that, yeah, let's do it. Why are we talking right now when we're not playing Ankh? But anyways, yeah, my Gorechosen, I gotta say Gorechosen, it's painted, it's out of print. Yeah, Wayne, you are right, dude. WotC is really, pardon earmuffs, kids, shit in the bed with this whole open game licensing right now. It's terrible. But yeah, man, I gotta say my Gorechosen. It's super fun. It's really good, and hard to get, especially a painted one that looks good. So.
Nice. That's one I need to play. You and Bob keep talking it up. I just like gory stuff in general. You put gore in the game title, and I'm like, oh, let's play that. Don't care what it is. Cool.
Yeah, it's super good, dude. It's super good.
My number 5 is one I've been talking about. Yeah, I mean, I get it. If you got somebody that can make it look like that, yeah, I would. That's what I'd be grabbing for sure. Right. I get it. Okay, so my number 5 is a game I have talked a lot about recently because I played it for the first time recently, but now it's out of print, so I have to save Clans of Caledonia.
Oh, right on.
Clans of Caledonia. I've said it before. It kind of replaces Terra Mystica for me. I like the way building is a bit more open-ended. You don't have to get specific resources for specific buildings. Every building gives you money, and money builds all your buildings. So it's just how can you manipulate getting more money, getting more income, or manipulating the variable market to get more money. I like that it's just a wild resource to build stuff. It feels so much more open-ended. So I love this game. I really like the metal coins. I have the Kickstarter edition. This is getting reprinted this year. That's Clans of Caledonia. I put it in my top 20 after one play. Really like this game. I hope I can get it to the table again soon. And hopefully the Kickstarter reprint will get the Rundown guys reason to play it with me, because I just feel like the theme and art makes it difficult to play with some of you guys. Maybe it'll be like one of those Bob games, but yeah, Wayne, I heard about the expansion too. Man, I'm excited. I thoroughly enjoyed this game after just one play. Just that, building adjacency and paying attention to what other players are doing. Yeah, Yeah, I knew about the reprint.
I can't wait to play this game. It sounds amazing. You've been
I know. I've been
up a little bit.
It's one of your sister's favorite games.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that was the whole reason we played it. I'm like, oh, really? It's also on my shelf. Let's go. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll find 2 people. Well, she's the host. She'll find 2 people pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, though, their game groups come stacked, so especially when they have a game day. It ain't no joke.
Ain't no joke. Okay. Number 4.
Okay, guys. So Dan called this one earlier, but I couldn't spoil that it's on my list. It had to be on my list because I don't want to pay $200 for this game because it's not worth $200. It's worth what it's worth, but it's not worth $200. I do have Unfathomable, which is basically a reprint of this game, but I have got to have my Battlestar Galactica. I've got a copy.
If you
have it, I gotta save it. I gotta save it. I must save it. It's a fantastic game. It will hit the table slightly less than Unfathomable because Unfathomable is streamlined. Thanks to a viewer of the show, I have a amazing 3D insert for Unfathomable, which makes setup and teardown super fast. But man, Battlestar Galactica, it nails the theme. The gameplay is so much fun, with the possibility of a hidden traitor. If you like Battlestar Galactica, you will love the game because it feels like you're in the show. When I bought the game at a Barnes and Noble clearance sale for $20, and I never seen the show. I was aware of the show. I had seen reruns of the 70s show, but I'd never seen the show. And I don't have any of the expansions, but the base game is great and I love it and I got to hold on to it. You know what I mean? So Battlestar Galactica, fantastic game. It's the one, if I can only say that or
I was drinking. I'm pretending to filler. I'm filling. I'm filling space. I'm filling.
Yeah, you're filling.
Go ahead and fill in for me too.
Anyways, if BSG and Unfathomable are sitting right next to each other, and I can only save one, I'm saving BSG because I could replace Unfathomable relatively easy. But Battlestar Galactica, man, great theme. You'll never get it back, right? They'll never get the licensing, especially with the show characters as it is. It'll never happen. And there was a funny thing going around on Instagram and Facebook lately of Starbuck playing Catan. So she's a gamer. Just saying.
Nice.
But that is my number 4, Battlestar Galactica. And I'm jealous of all these other guys with their expansions.
I've still never played it, but I knew if you owned it, it was going to be on this list.
Yeah,
it would be on everybody's list if you own it. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, where is it? It's around here. Oh, it's down there.
When I got into the hobby, it was already out of print. So.
Right. Yeah, that game was born out of print.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 4, without much further ado, it is because it is one of my favorite games, and I have the Kickstarter edition. It is Ankh. I am saving Ankh in a fire, Tim. There is no question about it. Ankh is coming with me in a fire. I don't have everything. I don't have everything for Ankh. I don't have it painted. But what I have in just a base pledge with the Tomb of Wonders box is more than enough for me to catapult this game up this list, because I don't want to go repay for the Kickstarter stuff I have in that Tomb of Wonders. That's 3 boxes now. So Ankh, I'm saving, man. I just love the game. I don't want to go get that extra content.
Hold on a second.
Sorry. Oh, in that event, my number 4 is actually the expansion for Kemet Ta-Seti.
Hey, not cool, dude.
Oh,
not
what?
Cool.
What?
You know I want this.
Oh, you do?
Mike, be that noble fellow you claim to be and save it so you can trade it to me.
That's why I'm saving it, Tim. I'm just gonna play your version of Ankh from now on. I'll save Kemet Tassetti so that you can have it. My OG copy of Kemet will burn in a fire. And then whenever I'm ready to finally play Kemet with Tassetti, which I still haven't do, I'll play Tim's copy. Great call, Bob. Great call.
I got the trilogy.
Oh, yes.
And the much maligned
by me
Upside Down. It is.
Oh, that reminds me. Shut Up and Sit Down got me into a game that they kept comparing this game to, and it looks like it fixes all my issues. Galactic Conquest? Galactic. It was themeless. That's why I can't remember what comes after Galactic.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have to say, man, Ankh isn't on my list because it's a stack of boxes. And I've even got an insert, again, thanks to a friend of the show, to have all my Ankh stuff in. But be cool, Bob. The cool stuff that I have for Ankh, like the painted pretty things, they're at Pete's house getting painted. So it's all good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I had to. I love the game.
Sure.
So there you go. Numero 3.
All right. I'm just everybody, Tim's gonna talk about a game from a designer that he's met and that he really likes.
Oh.
And I gotta save it because this game is not available in the United States. It's only available in Brazil. Everybody take a drink. Tim's gonna talk about a game he got from Brazil. No, it's not Comic Hunters, even though I would want to save it, but I gotta save Battlestar Galactica. If my Battlestar Galactica was on loan at somebody's house that wasn't burning down, I could save Comic Hunters, but I can't save Comic Hunters because I am saving my copy of Carnivalesco. I legit also though I could get my wife to play Carnivalesco before I could get her to play Comic Hunters, so that alone is why I have to save that one.
Nice. Yeah, that's a big one.
But it's a good game, dude. It's a really good game. It's beautiful. I love the theme because the theme taught me so much about Brazilian culture. Right there, bang, right? Like the whole reasoning behind the Carnival Festival. So I'm in, dude. It's all good, Dan. Hey, Dan, you love that game too. You got to admit you love that game too. Bob and I and Dan, we all had a great time playing. I think was Spencer there? I don't even remember. Who else was there? I was like in a whirlwind. TJ Swing is right behind us teaching Hike It. Who knew that like 3 months later, like we would be chatting with TJ like all the damn time, So here's the thing, Nix, is my wife would not send me in for any of these games, but I would go and get it anyways. And there she is, snooping from like 5 feet above me, laying in bed. Bless her heart.
That's funny.
Now she can't. Now, Mike, this is the first time she's watched where I'm on because she'll watch if you're on and I'm not. She'll be like, "Oh, what's he up to?"
We got that figured out. Why?
That's true. That's true.
As soon as you want to come on over to the dark side, Tim, we're very accepting.
Listen, always and forever. But no, I gotta say Carnivalesco is from my. I will call him my buddy Ron Halliday. Ron, thank you so much for a great game. I also love Seven Bridges, which is another one of his, but that's got a US release, so I can get that later. But Carnivalesco is going to come to Kickstarter, so maybe I shouldn't save Carnivalesco because it's going to come to Kickstarter this year, and maybe I should save Comic Hunters. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Tim's list is getting smaller because he can't decide what to save. He's running out of time to save them.
I'm running out of time. I am like. Has anybody seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he goes by the pet store that's on fire and he runs in and he like grabs all the puppies first, right? Because puppies are cute. And then he gets all the kittens and he gets all the kittens out. And he keeps every time he goes in, he looks at the snake cage and he's like, ugh, and he runs and gets something else. And then finally he goes back in and there's no other animals to save but the snakes. And so he comes out with the snakes smoking and hacking and he's like, ah! That's kind of like me right now. That's how I feel.
Don't know how you can remember specific scenes from a Pee-wee movie unless you've watched it recently, which is concerning.
Well, I haven't watched it recently, but you know what? I would watch it right now. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is totally underrated. And Steven, you're not wrong. He would. He facilitated. He's the reason why I have the version I do. He facilitated that arrangement. So Bob and I could pay. We actually paid the. I think it was like the owner of the publisher, like the publishing company. We bought it we gave him the money. He paid for it and then sent it to us.
Bob remembers, of course.
Bob's got my back, dude. Bob's got my back.
Wow.
I'm a rebel, Dottie. A loner.
I know yes. You are, but what am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my number 3. Oh, everybody.
Kelly, no, Kelly just says hello because Rob said, hi, Tim's wife. Everybody pray for her because she's married to me and has to put up with this daily.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it. So my number 3 mentioned in the comments. It's very obvious because it's big, it's expensive. It's out of print again, and that's Dwellings of Eldervale. I have the Legendary Edition. That comes with the sound bases. That comes with the Minotaur. And that comes with washed minis. And it is a solid game, and there's so much content in this box. There are 8 different factions that are double-sided, so there are 16 different variable player powers.
I love that was one thing that blew me away about that game. I'm sorry to interrupt. It was too cool for me not to jump in and like gush a little bit over it. Please continue with your pick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just, and plus the way I acquired it. Okay, this is the greatest board game trade I may ever make. I had Russian Railroads with the German Railroads expansion. Last year, well, sometime within the last year or 2, that went out of print. Of course, because it's Z-Man. Well, anyway, I just put it on. I've played it a lot. I like Russian Railroad. I've played it like 15 times. So I've got my money's worth. And I knew it was getting reprinted. It's now Ultimate Railroads. It's out now. You can buy it with all the expansions in one box.
I got something to say, Mike.
I only had one. Go ahead.
No. Finish your story about the trade, and then I will add.
Traded that for Dwellings of Eldervale Legendary Edition, which at the time the Kickstarter was, I want to say, 200. Now when they reprinted it, they bumped that up to 250. I'm seeing people trying to get $450 out of this game. I'm seeing people selling it for 350 to 400. Yeah, I'm saving Dwellings of Eldervale. Plus, let's also mention.
Hey, did you get $200 for that playmat? I'm sorry. I couldn't resist, Mike. Somebody's selling it online like for an irreasonable price is all I'm going to say. But Mike, please continue.
You filthy scalpers. $200 for a playmat. Jeez. Anyway, so greatest trade I've ever made. Solid game. It has my favorite box cover of maybe any game I own. I love the art on that box. It is gorgeous. Not the crocodile one, the base one. It has a lot more color. The drawing of the croc is cool, but it's very much grayscale, which I like, but not as much as the colorful dragon drawing. Oh, man. Woo! So, yeah, Dwellings, very obvious pick for me. Too easy.
So Mike, I got to tell a story about this trade. You know how I remember very specific scenes from movies. Well, I remember very specific interactions from a year plus ago. I remember there was this guy who I was like friends with on Facebook, but like hadn't really met and played games with. And but you know, he knew I was into the hobby and he knew I was a collector and stuff. And he's like, "Hey man, what do you think of this trade? Like, I got this game, Russian Railroads. I'm thinking about trading it for Dwellings of Eldervale. We're looking at prices." And I said to him, and you may have already known this to be fair to you, but I said, I think Russian Railroads is coming back. So if you feel like you need to get it back, you could always probably just replace it. But Dwellings might be harder to get. I'm like, dude, I'd move on it while the price is still high because the trade value of your Russian Railroads is going to go down really quick once that reprint comes out. so happy you pulled the trigger and that it worked out like so well. But Mike, that was one of the first like big conversations we had, dude, was talking about Russian railroads.
I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot. I bounced that off of you. I did totally forget about that. That was, man, dude, that was over a year ago.
We didn't know each other.
No, I was still just kind of randomly chatting you up maybe every few months. That was before I'd even asked if you were holding out a group from me. So
yeah, I'm like, no, dude, I don't got a group. I don't know nobody.
Okay, that's number 2. Where is it? It's way down here. Tim,
I'm gonna go get my number 2 real quick.
Go for it, Andrew. I'm gonna ask Tim. I wouldn't even mind talking about 1 or 2 of my rage quit stories tonight. I don't know, man. I don't think I definitely don't have enough to do like a top. I don't have enough to do like a top 5 probably, but I have 2 very specific, terrible sportsmanship stories that if Tim wants to get into, I will. But I'll on that note, I'll let him do his number 2, and maybe we'll revisit that tonight.
All right. For games that Tim purchased that aren't in this country, go ahead and take a drink. My number 2 is a game that I'm not sure I have ever said the name of it properly because it's in German.
Drink every time Tim says it wrong.
Yeah, there we go. Prepare to die. No, I bought this game used off of BGG, off of it's only available in German. This game came out in Europe. You cannot get it in the United States unless you buy it under the reprint version, which was Brain Games. So they did like Ice Cool. Their version is Pyramid of the Penguin. But the game I have is called Fluch der Mummy.
What in the world? It's a Ravensburger. Yeah.
It is a Ravensburger.
So is Bora Bora. 2 Ravensburgers on the list.
So here's the thing: is I was at a convention. Fluch der Mummy means like flee the mummy or run away from the mummy, get away from the mummy. I saw this game. I was at a Geekway, and I saw this game being played, and this guy's playing it with his kids, and it's a board that is upright. It's vertical, and on either side there are magnetic pieces stuck to the board.
They're battleships.
There's a mummy on one side of the board, and his magnet is stuck on the other, but all the player pieces are on the player side. So the players can see where the mummy is, but the mummy can't see where the players are. I like that. So the mummy can't see where the players are. The players are rolling die and moving and trying to collect different icons that are on the board. They need to get to these icons and do this set collection thing. But when they get the item, they have to reveal the card. So now the mummy knows where they're at. So there's this, and then when if the mummy moves and goes across one of the player pieces, because they're magnets, the player piece like flips up onto the mummy piece and goes click, and it stacks up. And so then they get set down to like the mummy's tomb. So anyways, the mummy's trying to catch all the players like 3 times before one of the players can complete their set of like 5 artifacts that they're trying to get out of the tomb. It is a goofy, fun little kids game, but I will hold on to this game for as long as I can because I've never seen anything like it, and my kids love playing it. There's a lot of tension with like because like the mummy will be walking right by you and you're kind of like just standing up against this wall like, please don't let him get me, please don't. Like if he just turns left instead of right, like I'm toast. I don't know, it's tons of fun.
My first hidden movement game.
Yeah, kind of. It says 8 to 99, so you can play this till you're almost 100 before you have to stop.
Good.
But yeah, I play this with my kids. I let Clark, like, because he's 6, I let him be the mummy because it's easier, and he'll just go around, while Mallory and I try to get the things. But I played this with adults. We've had a really good time. Again, I saw this getting played at a convention. I was like, what the hell is the name of that game? And the guy's like, oh, you probably will have a hard time finding it. I was like, I don't care. Like Mike, I can be like a dog with a bone when it comes to like a game that I just got to get my hands on. And this was one of them. I hunted for it for probably like 3-4 weeks.
Wow. I don't
found it. I would then watch like another month for prices, because I wanted to get one, but I didn't want to like have to get divorced because I bought one, because that would defeat the purpose. I found one at a good price,
right?
It's out of print, and you can only get it in Europe unless you get the American version, which is Pyramid of the Penguin. It's fine. I just like the Mummy version better. The magnets actually work better in the German version. Imagine that. Like the European version is sturdier. Where the US, the magnets are a little weak. They don't always flip or hold to the magnetic board as well.
Are you saying it was cheaper made?
Possibly. Possibly.
It's almost as if it wasn't manufactured in the United States.
What?
Okay. My number 2 is another game that I don't own. Yet, it'll be here Saturday. And this game I acquired from Tim's niece. And the moment I bought this game, I'm like, it's going on this list because it's in my top 50. I've always said if I could play it more, it would go up even higher. It's my favorite auction game, and that is Container. I basically had to admit when I did our top 50.
Not just Container.
Jumbo 10th Anniversary Edition.
There you go. Who's looking out for you? Who's looking out for you?
I'll tell you what.
Your last 2 games I've facilitated. I've been directly involved in making sure you acquired Grail games, sir. This is a service.
What was the other one? Why am I forgetting the
Dwellings? Dwellings. You traded. I got you. I encouraged you. You might have already done it. Full disclosure, but I encouraged you to trade Russian railroads while the value was high. So I love auction games. I enjoy economic games. And this is a game that manages to do this well and include player interaction, which in a lot of auction games, it's just, okay, well, I outbid you. No. You're producing goods and then warehousing goods and then selling goods, setting the price on those goods you sell, and then trying to auction them off. And people pay you if you load your ship. And every different container is a different color, and each player is trying to get as a different scoring card. Where like, hey, Tim may be getting the most points off blue containers. I may be getting the most points off red containers. So you're trying to figure this out as the game goes on. But when I did our top 50 and realized it was in there and that it was out of print, I was like, I need a copy. It became it was like a realization that, okay, this was a Grail game for me. I have to get it. And so I said it earlier, I hate overpaying for games. And when Tim's niece said they had a copy, yes, or contained my costs, which carry excitement. I was like, oh, well, let me make an offer. And I'm not going to say how much they sold it to me for, but it was less than it is on eBay by a lot. Yeah, and they came down. Your offer I thought was reasonable, but I was not sure that they would take it because it was less, by enough. But I'm glad they took it. It was great. I'm really glad.
I started looking more realistically over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I can't find a copy under $200. I found a copy for $125, but it didn't have a box, and it was being shipped from Canada, which was going to add like $35. Mm-hmm. Man, it's not even here yet. I'm going to be standing outside while my house is burning on the front porch with my bag of 9 other games I'd saved, and I'll be waving to the post office, the postal worker, when they show up. Hello, sir, right into this bag, please.
And he's going to say, no, sir, I must deliver it into that flaming basement of yours. Legally, it is the only way.
So
that's awesome, dude. I'm really glad. I'm excited for you.
I just saw what he did there. I see what you did there, Jason. Touche, sir. Touche. Took me. Well done. Love the pun. Okay, our number one games that we would save from a fire. Woo woo.
All right. My number one is an unplayed game on my list. If you watched our Shelf of Shame video, you may recognize this game, but I got to save this game because A, I got to play it, and B, I'd never be able to replace it. Never, because I will not spend the $300, $500, whatever $100 for the black box version when I got this version for $20 at a flea market, at a board game convention. It's not ugly, but it is glorious. It is Glory to Rome. I got my clamshell copy of Glory to Rome. I've never played it. I'm dying to play it. This would be so shameful. I would have to commit a seppuku, an honorable suicide for disgraced my house and my family for years and years. If I let this, now it's one thing if I played this. If I had played this and I was like, it's fine, and it burned up, maybe it'd be further down on the list. But as yet, I haven't played it.
You're right.
What's really scary is that when I do play it, I might have to burn down my whole collection anyways, because apparently that's how collections work these days.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, whoa, this is the best game ever. I never need another game. I don't know. But seriously, I cannot. I really want to play this, but I couldn't let this go. I'd have to keep my Glory to Rome. All I know is it's multi-use cards. What engine building, right? Tableau building.
Yeah.
And yeah, Trevor. Cards. Yeah. So my sister has the black box version. I got this ugly guy right here, but I don't care. I got the game, right? I was told that it was better to have this game taught to you because it can be complicated. But now I'm wondering, because I play a lot of games and I play heavy games too, right? Like I can play a Mind Clash game and not like be out of my league, you know? I play heavier games. I feel like I should be able to figure it out, but now it's just been so long. It's like blowing off the dust of this bad boy that I need to get it going.
I've played it. It's been a while, but I've played it multiple times. So it should come right back to me because it's weird to learn because it uses terminology that like no other game uses for stuff that every other games do, but call it something different.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what's confusing about it. They're like, okay, you're going to, I don't know. I can't think of the terminology. There's just weird terms for stuff that don't stick right away is what I remember.
Sure.
Like, what's that do again? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's an easy mechanic. I just couldn't remember what it was called. All right. So
listen here, Hooper. You taught us Wonderland's War wrong. You've taught me as many games wrong as I have taught you wrong. So you can go back to grinding your gears, buddy, because I know that's what you're doing right now. If anybody knows or didn't know, Bob and I have been friends for 20 plus years, so I could talk to him like that.
So there's really no shock, awe, or surprise of my number one, especially if you know what my favorite games are. This just happens to be one of my favorite all-time games, and it was the first big Kickstarter I ever bought, and I just don't want to have to replace Scythe. I got the modular board, I got the deluxe resources, I got the metal coins, I've got Invaders from Afar. I don't have Rise of Fenris because I played through it in someone else's copy, and I'd acquire it for some of the stuff you can use in a regular game, but probably not to play through the campaign again. Although I might, especially if Bob needs people.
He does.
I also don't have all the extra exploration cards. I'm totally forgetting what they're called. Maybe they are exploration cards. Because they're fan-made, and I've heard some of them kind of aren't balanced. So I don't have everything for Scythe. Doesn't matter. One of my all-time favorites. Got enough that I don't want to go track it down again. I love this game, and it was that simple.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great game. It's a great game.
So there you go.
Do we want to run down our list from 10 to 1?
Ooh. Sure.
Because it is Board Game Rundown, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first. So my number 10 is Rampage. My number 9 is Growl. My number 8 is Taverns of Tiefenthal. My number 7 is Mind Management. My number 6 is Stay Away. My number 5 is Gore Chosen. Number 4, Battlestar Galactica. Number 3, Carnivalesco. Number 2, Fluke der Mummy. And number 1 is Glory to Rome.
What did you call me?
You heard me. Fluke der Mummy.
Okay, my number 10 is Autobahn because I'm an excellent friendified character. Role player. Bora Bora. Encyclopedia. Haven't played it yet. Need to review it. Heat because it's just so good. And already out of stock. Clans of Caledonia. Unk. Which I'll leave mine in the fire so I can play Tim's painted copy and save Kemet Tassetti because I have the OG version, so does Tim. 3, Dwellings of Eldervale. 2, Container, the Jumbo Edition. Finally.
That's important. It's important to mention it's the Jumbo Edition.
Yes, those ships are so big.
I cannot wait to see this game, Mike. I cannot wait to see this game.
It doesn't look that impressive, but the ships are amazing. And Scythe.
Good list, dude. It's a good list.
It was a fun list. I'm really glad we did it. I knew we'd have wide-reaching games coming out of this.
Yeah. No, it was so much fun to just kind of think of like what random crap would occur to me. Like, oh, what do I need to save? You know, and why would I save it? And so no, this was a ton of fun, right? Like, no, it's not just it's not just like, oh, why wouldn't I save my top 10 games, right? Like, no, I need to save games that like for these specific reasons. And Mike, I loved all your reasons. I loved your list. So well done, sir. Fantastic work.
I just like some of the deep cuts you were able to pull out.
Hey,
you know,
dude, you got to go for some weird things sometimes, right? I wanted to mention some stuff that I've never ever talked about, you know, or at least haven't in a very long time. Some of my honorable mentions would be my ICP deck building game, which is still in shrink because I play Bob's. It's a really good deck builder. It's not better than DC Deck Builder. Shut up, Dan. But it is a really good deck builder, and it's a lot of fun. The art is crazy, and it's a really quirky, like just fun thing to have in your collection, even just for a conversation piece. Another game that I genuinely love, and that's Belfort, the Jay Cormier, the designer of Mind Management. I've got everything for it. My sister got it for me as a birthday present years ago. I kickstarted the expansion, and then Tasty Minstrel went out of business. Are you fireproofed? Sure, Bob. That's why you're better than us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would have to save my Sheriff of Nottingham because second edition is so damn ugly. I got to save my first edition of Sheriff of Nottingham.
I have that as well. Didn't make the list, though.
Dan, you say literally not comparable, but you will not. But you still try to compare Lords of Vegas to Foundations of Rome, and I would say that's not comparable. So who's irrational now? Hey Rob, I got a copy of Sleeping Gods for trade if you want one. I got to save it from this fire. But also that Sheriff of Nottingham, the second edition artwork's so ugly, I'd have to find a first edition. So. And then the other one I would save is Comic Hunters from Brazil, blah, blah, blah. I really like it. Don't know the designer, but the designer I know does know the designer. So by 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, know the designer. And then U-Boot is a game that I own, and I'm dying to play. It just looks so freaking cool. That would be the last of my honorable mentions. U-Boot.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Marvel Remix, just because I'm obsessed with that game. I love it. That's the other one I'd say.
Fair.
Also, can play it while I'm waiting for firefighters to get to my house.
Oh, true.
Do you want to start talking again so I can cut you off? Because I will just keep doing it. I apologize so much, Mike.
Okay, my honorable mentions Okay.
Did you see that dog over there? No, wait.
Wow. I feel like we're recording a Led Zeppelin song suddenly. Okay, so my first one I threw on here because it's out of print, and it would be easy to toss in the bag. Love Letter Batman.
Oh, right. Hard to get.
Just toss it in the bag. Just whoop, I'll throw it in my pocket. Walk out. Saved Love Letter Batman. It's out of print. I've gotten crazy trade offers for this game, like $40, $50 games for a game that I paid like $12.
Yeah.
Another one is Macau. This is another Feld game. It is out of print. They are turning this. They've already turned it into Hamburg. Hamburg's uglier than Macau. Queen, you reprinted a game and made it uglier.
That's
and then
twice.
forced people to pay more for it.
That's twice.
And you're charging $100 for it because it's in a bigger box.
It seems like that whole Cities Edition thing is maybe not the best.
Correct.
Okay.
Still interested in Marrakesh because it's not a reprint. It's actually a new design. Also a city, hence being in the City series. But Macau, I still haven't played it, but it has some really cool mechanics in this game. Real quick, just go over the mechanic because I think this is super cool. Roll several dice. Whatever pip you get, you got this rondelle that is the round that you are able to get those resources. So if you plop a 2 on the 2, you're going to rotate your rondelle. In round 2, you'll get 2 of those resources. So talk about planning ahead. Craziness. Every round you're rolling a die, and you kind of know what round you can use these resources. Fascinating mechanic. Really just need to get this under the table. Battle for Rokugan. This is an out-of-print Fantasy Flight game that I also get $100 offers for, and I paid $30 for it. It's out of print. Still haven't played it. Also, actually, has has another interesting mechanic. It is kind of a combat sort of game, except you have tokens that show their strength. There's a planning phase. You put them face down, then put them in a region that you want to defend or attack. So everybody reveals them at the same time, so you don't know what strength they are. Plus, there's a bluff token. There's one token that has nothing on it. It's not attack. It's not a defense. It's literally posturing the token.
To blave. Sorry. Princess Bride. To bluff.
And I'll say Gaia Project. Recently acquired it from Elkhart Paul, and he pimped it out. I don't pimp out a lot of games, but he's got some geek bags in there. He's got some other stuff. Haven't played it yet. Really want to, and it's got cool stuff in it. So why not say that?
I played half. I played half a game of Gaia Project.
I remember. Cool. I remember that because we played like 3 games in that time.
Yeah.
That was the first JuliaCon.
Yeah, and then Patrick came over and was like, "Okay, so you guys should be done because I want to go to bed."
Like, oh. So there you go. That's our honorable mentions. Tim, let's go ahead and jump into a rage quit story. I've got one that just still grinds my gears, sticks in my craw, of just absolutely selfish. Like, I'm glad I did not have to play another game with this person ever again. So I was still a relatively new gamer. And Uncle Mo, I've mentioned before, was the one that got me into games. He had a semi-regular group, but Mo lives 2 hours away. So I would go game with his group once every few months, you know. And so one of the times I went to game with that group, we were playing Zombicide. That tells you how long ago this was. Okay, this was probably 2015, maybe? And we're playing Zombicide, which, as you know, is a cooperative game. We all win as a team. Just make sure the team wins. Except one guy couldn't handle that. So we had this scenario where it was, and again, it's been almost 10 years, so some specifics I'm going to forget, but I remember the result. We had a scenario where we had to go grab something out of a building and then take it to an exit. Pretty standard type of scenario for a lot of games, okay? So what we did, we had a big group, 7 or 8 people, I want to say, playing Zombicide. And so we split up. We said, okay, you 4, you got the better weapons. Stay out here, try to fight off the zombies. You 4, go into the building, protect, the guy that's going to pick up the artifact or whatever it was, protect him on the way back. We'll meet somewhere in the middle, or you guys just make a dart for the exit because you only needed that one person with the artifact to escape. By this point, by the time they get to that artifact, we're swarmed. I mean, they come out of the building with an artifact, and it's like, oh, crap. I mean, we've got this map flooded with zombies, flooded. Some of the guys were leveling up too fast, I think. Once again, not being team players. You level up too fast in Zombicide, more zombies spawn. So you don't always want to level up too fast. Yes, I know. It is. Again, one of my first maybe 30 games I ever played. So this isn't like something I continually do is play 8-player Zombicide with selfish people. So here's what happens, okay? I don't game with this guy anymore. I didn't even know him at the time, and I'm glad I don't today. So 2 groups and zombies everywhere. And we said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet you guys in the middle. We're going to draw all the zombies to the middle. We just had this choke point. You with the artifact, you're going to make a run for it because all the people in the middle we're going to toss a Molotov in the middle of this mess. We're all going to die, but so are all these zombies, and the guy with the artifact is going to get out scot-free. Genius plan. We're all coming up with it like, oh, that is such a cool idea. Yes, let's do this. And then you got this sourpuss at the table mad because he's going to die. Really? That's the only way we were winning this scenario. And he became a bitch, frankly. This dude was a sourpuss, just complaining. We do our moves. We're setting up this thing, and we're going to throw the Molotov. We're all grouping up. And then the other guy, and he played along because, like, I don't know if he would have ever been invited back if he didn't. And, like, literally, as soon as he got to the exit, it was still close because there were lingering zombies chasing him down the hallway to get out of the exit. And sure enough, he wins, and that guy's like, why? I still can't believe we did this. I didn't want to die. I never agreed to that. And, like, one of the other guys the guy hosting is like, dude, like, seriously, if you're going to be that kind of gamer, like, I don't know if I want you back. Within 5 or 10 minutes he left, I never saw the guy again. But it was like this epic experience that I still talk about. And everybody, like anybody that played that game, like, dude, you remember the Molotov suicide mission? You remember the guy that was a bitch? I'll never forget that. Like, don't be that gamer. I mean, seriously.
That's pathetic. Not you, that guy's behavior. Come on, man. A win's a win, dude. A win is a win.
It's a co-op game.
Well, here's the other thing. If something I do kills me, but it makes sure that everybody else wins, to me, that's even almost better because I wasn't the skunk that had to sneak out. Like, no, man, I held my ground and I went down in a blaze of glory. Like, give me that Viking death, Like, yeah, that dude's a punk. That dude's a punk.
Pardon my language. I usually try not to, PG-13 on our streams.
It's okay. It's okay.
But that's what he was.
It's okay. I'll tell one story about a different player rage quitting. I can't think of a time where I've actively just like rage quit a game, unless the game was called Rage Quit. Which there were some local guys they had a prototype of this game called Rage Quit. I'll go into this little tangent, but the version of the game, I forget how it was, but you had these colors. You have a player board that you have to hang slightly off the edge of the table. Okay. So everybody's got to sit on the edge of a table, and then you're playing cards, which make people stack up chips on their player boards. Okay. So when you fill up your player board and there's no more room for you to put chips, you have to rage quit. And that means you're out of the game. But what you do is you flip your board, you hit it, and flip it up. And then any of the chips that fly off and land on other players' boards get added to their boards. So you can chain reaction, making players rage quit. See, Jason, let me tell you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that guy wanted to be Ben Affleck, and I'll tell you why I wouldn't want to be that character in Armageddon is because I hate Liv Tyler with a passion, and I would not want to be stuck on Earth eating graham crackers or animal crackers with Liv Tyler because I sang that damn "Leaving on a Jet Plane" song with her, trying to get some before I went into outer space. Whoops, I made a huge mistake. He thought he was going to die. He could have said whatever he wanted to her. He comes back alive. Now he's locked in. He made a huge mistake. But anyways, that game Rage Quit never actually got made. We only ever played prototypes of it, but it was super fun. I mean, there was chips flying everywhere, as you were doing it. But no, seriously, I was at Geekway. They used to have DC deck builder tournaments. 2 years in a row, I lose to this guy that looks like Weird Al. It comes down to me and him. The irony is,
so it was Bob?
Nope. Oh. This guy knocked Bob out. Like, it would have been me and Bob, like head to head for the final, but this guy knocked Bob out. The irony is he looked like Weird Al, and I love Weird Al. I have seen Weird Al in concert more times than I've seen any other artist. I don't care. I'll admit that. So anyways, turns out this dude, thank you, Bob Silver. That is a good movie. Turns out, like, playing with this guy, the third time I met him at the end of a tournament, I got to talking to him a little bit, and he was actually nice. The first two times he was kind of had this like air of arrogance and like, I guess I'm here, Turns out I found out he was like a tournament level, high level Magic the Gathering player. Like would go and play in like the international tournaments and stuff. So that's where the disposition, if you will, came from. Hey, me too, Bob. Robert. Sorry, I called you Bob. But yeah, so he had like this whole air of like, I'm too good for all of this. So we're at this Geekway. There's a DC deck builder tournament. Of course I enter it. Of course I get to the final table. There's me and him and a couple other people. And I know that sounded really horrible. Of course I got to the final table. It's just of course I get to the final table and this dude is sitting right next to me. And it's like every damn time, like I got to beat him. We were joking. We were calling him my nemesis. Weird Al's my nemesis, right? I got my nemesis to rage quit in the championship match of the DC deck builder tournament. Got him to rage quit because I was playing cards, making him discard, just buying up all the good stuff out of the lineup. I was going before him every round, so I was like totally jacking his hand. It was 100% my strategy going in because I was like, if I can take him down, I got a good chance of beating everybody else at this table. You know what I mean? So it's like you take down the big dog. And I got him to rage quit. He got up and was just like, I'm done. And we were all kind of stunned. And I wasn't like trying to be like an asshole about it. But, I'm just playing the game to the best of my ability. But I also knew like, okay, well, if I can kind of beat him down a little bit, but I wasn't talking trash. I wasn't being rude. We're actually chatting. I was actually chatting him up and learning about him. That's when I learned he was a Magic the Gathering tournament player, and things like that and stuff. And, but yeah, man, he got up, walked away from that table. I was like, I can't wait to talk to Bob. Bob's going to be so proud of me. But yeah, that was I caused my nemesis, who doesn't know me, to rage quit a game. He did remember me from previous years because he's like, oh, hey, you again, But it was my proudest moment as a gamer, dude. It was my proudest moment.
That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, Star Realms can give you the rage quit bug? Yeah, I love Star Realms. I can get it, though.
So I didn't rage quit, but there was one night where like pretty late. Nobody was really available. Usually if it's late, Bob's the one that'll win a game. And I think he hit me up at like 10, 11 o'clock and is like, hey, you want a game? I'm like, all right, look, I live a half hour away from all of these guys. I'm the weird one that's far away. So I'm like, all right, dude, if I'm going to come over at 11 o'clock and drive 30 minutes, we need to play something epic. And like, I had a game pop in my head. And Bob's like, let's play Star Wars Rebellion. And I'm like, oh, that's the game that popped in my head. And he was the Rebellion, and I got thumped. I waved the white flag. It was over. It was over.
Sometimes you got to know when to walk away, dude.
There was no catching. I mean, He took out every means I had of transporting troops. So, and then I got to wait 3 rounds to get more. Oh, right. The timer has 3 rounds left. Oh, yeah, it's over.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. And we don't need to spend another hour of you kicking my ass. You can just have this. You have this victory. You have earned it. 100%.
I'm supposed to move around and find you and then also put troops on your planet, but I have no way of transporting troops for 3 more rounds. Sweet. Good job.
Oh, hold on. I just saw Bobby's comment from back there. See, even Bob knew. This comment was while I was in the middle of telling a story about Weird Al. Bob said, "Your nemesis." And yeah, we joked. My wife even called him my nemesis. And I
mean, I had only played Star Wars Rebellion a couple times. So yes, I was very much playing a shark. But you know, I lost gracefully. I'm like, Bob, I can't catch you.
But Mike, let's agree to this, right? There is nothing more satisfying than when you beat Bob at a board game. Because Bob is really good at board games.
He is very good at board games, and it is pretty satisfying.
It's awesome.
I mean, at least I was actually looking at like plays from last year, and I think I played almost like 100 games with Bob. So I played a lot of games with Bob last year. I don't know if I won maybe 5 or 6 of them. And like the ones I win, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to talk about that for the next month. So because one of them was Foundations of Rome, and I beat him by more than 20.
Dude, that's so good.
Figured out I figured out the strategy for Foundations of Rome. I explained it in another video. I'm not going to spoil it, especially while Bob's on here. And I beat him at Planet Unknown last time. So there you go. Twice. Last 2 times I have beat Bob at Planet Unknown. My house, New Year's Eve, and then a Michigan event. So I beat
Bob at Abomination Heir to Frankenstein. And man, that still cooks his goose. I know it bothers him because I did it all just using animal parts. I was just cranking out the cheap points. Bob's going for quality. I'm going for quantity. Like, I'm just going to bang this out. And, but no, hey, so we're getting towards the end, but, does anybody, this has been a fantastic night, guys.
This has been a good show for sure.
The chat has been great. The lists, Mike, your list was fantastic. I loved your list. I feel very confident and strong about our
really great
about our lists. Super fun. But does anybody want to pitch us like a theme or two for Mike and I to come up with a thing before we sign off? Because this is super fun.
Yeah, I'm willing to throw one out there. So yeah, you just got to give us an IP, a goofy idea, or anything you'd like us to try and turn into a game.
Yeah, something
for example,
a game. Yeah.
Last time I remember we had the 20th century door-to-door salesman. That was one of them last time, and Tim and I both made a game out of.
Oh, here we go. Battle Royale in the animal world.
Oh, Ark Nova Tactics. Got it.
Ark Nova Tactics. Done. It's polyomino, right? So you are building, the game is played in 2 phases. You spend the first phase building up your roster of animals, right? So then, and you've got to fit them in your zoo. Then there's then you basically are going to choose which animal you're going to pit, but I'm not going to tell you, right? So like maybe I've got a hippopotamus. You've seen the collection, right, of animals that I've gotten. And you're like, okay, so I've got these animals and I know Tim's got these animals, but you don't know which one I'm going to throw at you until we both reveal what animal's going to fight. So there's sort of like a rock, paper, scissors, right? So you're like, I've got monkeys, or whatever, apes. And I've got hippos. And so then we got to like, play cards of why, this card, these animals beat these animals, maybe I got like rabid badgers, but you played a tiger. Whoops. Like I'm in trouble. So anyways, that's my very basic pitch. We will call it Ark Nova Tactics. I'm going to steal that from you because that is brilliant. And, and I'm going to keep the polyomino aspect of Ark Nova. And yeah, you are a la Ocean style playing traits. So maybe my hippos have mechanical arms so that they can grab, you with or something. So I can upgrade them.
Well, in that event, okay, first of all, Wayne, I want to address this. I've mentioned this to Tim, and it's tough for him to come up with that many. He rates games very favorably, which is fine.
I play games I like.
We try to. Now, if you haven't seen it, we do have a top 10 most overrated, overhyped games. It is still our most popular video of all time. And we bash some games in that list.
Full disclosure, I really like some games on my list. I just think they're overhyped.
True. Yeah, true.
But yeah,
I picked a bunch I didn't like.
That's fair. Totally fair.
I think Pandemic Legacy is one of the most overrated games of all time. If you love Pandemic, sure, Pandemic Legacy is awesome. If you think Pandemic Legacy is okay, you're just going to play Pandemic 12 times. Stuff's going to change a little bit, but you're not going to go, wow, Pandemic's amazing now. No.
Sorry, Wayne. See, here's the thing, though, is that is a game that I like, but I think it's overrated. I think it's a very good game, but it's overrated.
How? Is it already getting a ton of views? We don't know. It came out literally an hour before.
I doubt it. I'll jump over and look. I
doubt it. It's not. I didn't even know anything about it when Tim mentioned it. So.
No, it's got like 12 views. Nobody cares about kites.
Here you go. So since I didn't pitch my animal battle royale, Tim is going to recognize this is a retheme, but most of our audience will not. And that is because Battle Royale Animals is going to be similar to a tactical miniatures game. We're each going to start on opposite sides of randomly drawn hexes, where you have to move to flip the hex over. If you are on a hex that matches the creature, you're going to get additional benefits when you attack another player. When you attack a player, we each have the same set of cards. There's 6 cards. Some attack, some block, some have special attacks. And based on the tile, now, Tim, do you recognize the retheme yet?
I think so.
Okay.
Keep going.
Except what I'm going to add is the module where there are some tiles that allow you to recruit. And you can recruit additional animals from the animal kingdom to join you in battles. But it's a very quick micro game, if you will, where you're going to battle your animals against each other. So I would call it Animal Kingdom Battle.
Okay.
Tim, do you recognize the retheme?
Is that Nano?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Which unfortunately didn't get funded.
I know. It was a cool game. And I don't know if you saw, but Rob says Kite's going to be the most popular video because of the special guest. I don't want to spoil it for the people in the chat.
I totally forgot.
I did too.
Damn it.
I don't want to spoil it for the people in the chat, but you guys need to just go check it out for like 30 seconds, even if it's just see the special guest. And then you'll understand that comment.
Dude, I'm sorry, Rob. Like, we filmed so many videos, and that one was like 2 or 3 weeks removed. I totally spaced you in that one.
Okay, so Jason Dunham had running a call center staffed by monsters. Ooh. So Jason, I'm gonna punt for a second because I want to know, are these monsters like generic monsters? Or these universal monsters? Like what? Give me like a scope, right, of what kind of monsters? 80 slashers, monsters. You know. Okay, so while Jason does that, let's pick one of these from Andrews.
Number
I like
2.
Okay, so the Florida Man Empire game, which is funny because the way I read it, the way it's in the comments, is it reads Florida Man Empire 3, like it's the third one. So I'm going to call, what I'm going to say is that nobody's going to remember this, but in the 80s, there was a Bill Cosby movie called Leonard Part 6, okay? There was no Leonard's Part 1 through 5. They, for whatever reason, just decided to name it Part 6, like he was this established character. So, I know it was not your attention, but Percocet, Florida Man Empire 3 is going to be the official name of my game because it's going to imply that there was a 1 and a 2. And what it is you are running around. This is a tableau building game, an engine builder, if you will, but sort of like... oh shoot, not Ghost Dad. Edith. Anyways, in my Percocet Empire, Florida Man Empire game, what you're doing is you are trying to be the richest Florida man, right? But the thing is, you're doing all these get rich schemes, but you're going to do things like Florida men do, like bath salts and chewing off somebody's face, but it's going to give you extra abilities. But you did something crazy. Maybe I tried to smuggle a 13-foot anaconda in my pants to get on an airplane, but I had a good reason. Because they found the snake, they didn't find the heroin I had in my keister, so you're doing these things these crazy things, you're going to have these different tracks of notoriety, which are going to move you up. But you've got to balance that with the more notorious you are, the more likely you are to go into jail, right? So you've got to bring that jail track down, but keep that notoriety track high because you want to be big on TikTok. You want to be big on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So you've got to do crazy things to stay in the headlines. And yeah, I would blatantly just rip off every crazy Florida Man story would be a card in the game, which would then be a way to help build your empire of insanity. So that is my pitch for Florida Man Percocet, Florida Man Empire 3. That's the name of the game.
Well done, Tim. Well done. Okay.
I might have had to eat a lot of bath salts to come up with that.
Tim, I am going to create I am creating a 4X game. And it's going to be called Heroes of Perks, Vikes, and Weed. Okay? and so just like typical 4X form, you're going to be able to trigger the end of game if you meet any of these conditions. 1, you exterminate any of your opposition who's trying to run the biggest, most efficient perk production selling chain. Okay, the other players. Exploring. That is exploring all the areas of the map, including all of the local. You also have to have at least explored every tile that has a local pharmaceutical clinic on it, and those come out randomly. Okay. Also, the expand mechanic, because you are going to get the ability to recruit new troops. And I'll come back to that. The exploit it's whoever can run the resource supply out of the game. So in the game, one of the main resources is perks, vikes, and weed. But we're focusing on perks. Therefore, every player count has a different count of resources. If you are the person that can run the game out of resources, you can trigger the end of the game with the exploit mechanic. Now, some of those workers that you're able to recruit, some of them allow you to increase your price to certain customers so you get more money on income phase. Some of them are going to be able to travel farther and get to more of the pharmaceutical clinics to get more product in to help with income phase. You also have some whose sole purpose is to take out the other guys that are trying to farm perks. And the thing is, some of these guys require perks. Just to be able to recruit them, you got to give them some perks, which they immediately consume.
Mm-hmm.
Those specific troops take more damage because they're on a painkiller. Mm-hmm. But their movement is slowed because they're on a painkiller. So
right, but they're
there
tougher.
You go.
Right, yeah.
But they can take more damage. So
here's the great thing, Mike, is like movies, right? Armageddon and Deep Impact come out the same year. You know, Dante's Peak and Volcano come out the same year. Champions of Midgard and you know, Blood Rage and a bunch of Viking games all come out at the same time, right? We can have both of our Florida Man games come out at the same time.
Yes.
I like both of these games, dude. I think your game sounds fascinating, and I sure as heck want to play mine.
Yeah, I know. They both sound good. I mean, I'll stick with my name. You can just call yours Go King.
No, mine's called Percocet Empire.
Oh, my bad.
Percocet, a Florida Man Empire 3. It's got to have 3 in it.
And totally my idea, Heroes of Perks, Bikes, and Wheat.
Dude, love it. And they sound completely different. They never even know that we pitched them at the same time. Great.
Great. This part of this stream has become very fun.
Okay, so for the last one, there's a bunch of good ones in here, but I'm going to just call this the last one. So Jason clarified, because we promised we'd come back to it.
Tim's buffering on his sales pitch for his monster call center.
All right, you there? Okay, we're ready. So last one is running a call center staffed by monsters. But Weird Al fights aliens with nothing but songs. I mean, I'm in. That's a movie I want to watch. But the game is going to be the call center staffed by monsters, and they're going to be like horrified style monsters. So because of that, I'm going to say that gives you universal monsters, and that also gives you like the American, cryptozoology, whatever they are.
Mothman.
Yeah, Mothman and some of those. Jackalope. I'm going to go
Cryptids.
Cryptids, that's what it is. I'm going to go with the OG Horrified because I haven't played the other one, so I don't remember all the monsters that are in that one. And I'm more familiar with, or I guess it's easier for me to come up with some mechanics of the universal monsters and like how they work. So here's the deal. You are working in a call center and you're a monster. Let's just say this call center is you're cold calling people, right? So everybody already hates you. 1, because you're calling them and they don't want your phone call. Realistically, nobody wants that phone call. 2, they hate you because you're a hideous monster. Here's the other thing is your coworkers don't like you either. So this is an outlast your opponent game, because you are trying not to get fired because you're a monster. Dracula keeps eating his coworkers. You know, he needs blood, but he's very good at sales, because he can hypnotize people, right? So he has got to go fast, because the longer he goes, the more of his coworkers he kills, and then he's going to get fired for all the murder, and that's a bummer. Frankenstein, they'll never fire him because they're too scared of him, but nobody on the phones can understand him. So you've got to like come up with a way you got to build your cards, your deck. Maybe this is a deck builder, and you got to play your game in a way. The strategy is to keep him in the game as long as you can, so that you can, because they're not going to fire you, right? It's really hard to get fired, but nobody buys stuff from you. So it's really hard. Invisible Man, for example, your boss doesn't think you show up to work. So you've got to do really well at sales because he thinks you're never there. So you've at least got to have the numbers when you're called in front of the boss. You've got to have the numbers to back up like why you should stay employed, even though you've been there the whole time. working your tail off. Speaking of tails, we've got the Wolfman. I don't know what we do with the Wolfman. I think it's, again, kind of like Dracula. You have to get all of your sales before the full moon. If you hit the full moon, you murder all your coworkers and you're out of a job. So that's basically your end game. So you got to have all your points by then. And then there's the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's a tough one. I don't know if I got one for him yet. But so I'm going to just keep it with those for right now. That's what I got. That's my game. You're working in a call center. It is just trying to have the most points before your end game triggers. There you go.
Wow. I'm struggling with this a little bit. So the best I can come up with is I would make this a worker placement game. Okay. Because they're monsters at work. You're going to start with very basic monsters, working very basic phone questions, but you're going to go to worker placement spots that allow you to unlock the monsters, because those monsters are better at selling your product in the call center. So what happens is you're going to get these opportunities to unlock. You're going to get the opportunities to unlock the better monsters. Like, you start with basic ones, but then you get Frankenstein, then you get Dracula, Invisible Man. You have to unlock them with worker placement spots. Once you have them, then there is a planning phase and an income phase. You assign your monsters to specific phone calls. Well, hey, we've got a product out there right now that's really made for people that, enjoy the Addams Family. We got an Addams Family product out there, so we're going to stick Frankenstein on the Addams Family product. We're going to stick the Invisible Man on a product that invisible Scotch tape, because he is equipped to be able to sell more Scotch tape by nature. So there you go. A worker placement game, getting upgraded workers, assigning them to specific phone calls so that you get more income based on the monster and the product that they're assigned to during the income phase.
I can dig it.
There you go.
I can dig it. Good job. Good job. You were struggling with that. You came up with a good one.
Yeah, not bad.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna
personally, of every idea I've came up with, Heroes of Perks, Bikes, and Weed. I mean, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Perks, Bikes, and Weed. Dude, I thought I was money until you said your title. I was like, there's no way he is beating mine. You said the title. I'm like, oh my God.
I knew you were gonna love that one.
Like, what could I do? What could I do? Well, all right, guys. That was freaking amazing. As usual, y'all did not disappoint. Hopefully, you want to come back and see us again next week, because this is like my new way to my favorite way to close the show, Mike, is to do this crazy ass game pitch. And look, Jason's loving it. So
I'm kind of wanting to do this like almost every week. So yeah, some of the ideas are hilarious.
Well, I think if we just keep it to like a couple, I mean, we could do it. We could BS our way through an hour of this crap, if not 2 hours. But if we do a couple like every week, it keeps it fresh and fun.
Yeah, you are definitely talking to a couple guys that are the king of filler here. So
yeah. Oh, you mean BS? Yeah, we are the kings of BS. But no, you guys rock. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us for yet another Whiskey Wednesday. I'm going to need to be buying, probably after next week, I'm going to have to buy another bottle of whiskey. I got to figure out what I'm going to get, because I'm through. I finished the makers, and I'm about through my Indiana whiskey. So I got to get something else.
I got a couple more weeks on this. Then decisions got to be made, either buy more or open up the special bottle that resides right over here that I've been saving.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Also, I don't know about you, Mike, but I've been using my big fancy ice cubes that I got myself for Christmas.
Oh, yes. And thank you for those. Oh, thank you, because I know it was a very small gesture, but it was a nice gesture.
No,
because you know where I'd use them.
Yeah, well, the ice cubes are. I just like having like a big fancy, ice cube in there. It's not as cool as Caleb's like sphere. That like it's just like a giant perfect circle that you drop in. It takes up the majority of the glass, so you fill your glass all the way up. Oh, Rob, did you leave it at the store? I probably got another one, dude. I'll get it to you. Dang it. Well, somebody's got nice ice cubes. Yeah, so Rob, for those that don't know, Rob came and visited us, played games with us. It was amazing. It was a great time. I wish I could have played more games with you, Rob, but you played Wonderland's War, which then took like 3.5 hours. And, and I played like 5 games in that time.
Right.
Fair. But we did get to play kites. We played Not That Movie, and I got to meet you. That was nice, and it sounds like everybody else had a really good time. So
yep, it was a blast. And I gotta say, I gotta jump off here and watch that kites review.
Oh yeah.
So also don't forget, next week we will have special guest Michael Gugliano from the Full 42, who also is a game designer, very plugged in, knows a lot of people in the industry. And we got an interesting topic that I still need some clarity on, but we'll get there.
Hey, listen, when you asked, Mike said, it's your show, do what you want.
That's true.
Hey, there's my guy. That. There's my guy, Jeff. What's up, buddy? But
oh yeah, Bob was struggling that day. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's all right, Bobby. Yeah, I mean, we can't time everything perfectly, and there's going to be more opportunities. And obviously, guys, if you're ever in the northern Indiana, area, reach out to us. We would love to play a game with you. We want to hang out. We'd love to visit. Like Jeff, if we're ever in the same city and you want to play your painted version of Foundations of Rome, I will play it with you. I will be a good sport. You'll probably win. What? I'll be a good sport. I'll just be like, oh, I had to play this game. I hate it again. I might like talk trash about it a week later, but I won't talk trash about the company. My thing is I never talk trash about the company. It's just the game. Whatever. But no, y'all are great. So much love to you. Thanks for joining us. Again, we will be back next Wednesday live. And we forgot to do something, Mike. So the Flamecraft giveaway. Our Flamecraft giveaway winner has yet to respond.
Yeah,
we're gonna have like a conversation with the other with the rundown hosts and everything, and ultimately it will be our decision. But what do you guys think? Like, how long do we give this person to respond before we just draw a new winner?
You said a week, and I think that's pretty fair. If Monday rolls around, which is when we announced it, the winner,
right?
If Monday rolls around and he hasn't contacted us, then yeah, we're gonna have to redraw. I mean, I even gave them the benefit of the doubt. I found his comment and replied to it. Hey, dude, get a hold of us. Discord, email, Facebook, take your pick. And we still haven't heard anything. So
yeah. So we may still have a copy of Flamecraft to give away in the future.
Maybe.
If not, though, we probably do something else. In a couple of weeks, because it's fun to do the giveaways. And honestly, like. If I can bribe you guys to be my friends, I'm not above that.
Well, yeah.
So that's how I got Mike to be my friend.
Oh, true. I wasn't willing at all.
No.
Everybody's kind of agreeing that a week is pretty fair. I tend to be in that ballpark too.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to throw one other thing out there.
Go for it.
If you guys, any of your crazy game idea topics, IPs that are all awesome that we haven't touched yet, remember them, store them, post them in our Discord or something, because next week, Michael Gugliano is a game designer. I would love to hear him off the fly come up with a game for one of these. I think he'd appreciate that.
Or rip us like sideways for coming up with terrible game ideas, which I'm also fine with. I would love it.
You made a board game out of Vicodin, you idiot.
Right.
So, game designer on the show. Let's show them what we got. Why not?
It'll be fun. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank all of you that have been here as usual. It has definitely been a blast. We'll see you next week, and we'll have a few more reviews out by then.
Yeah, we sure will. Peace and love. Thank you guys so much.
For the Board Game Rundown, I'm Mike.
I'm Tim.
See you guys next time.